My presentation is over Pope John Paul II's letter to women before the Beijing Conference in 1995. John Paul II's main message throughout the letter was that the world creates obstacles for women in social, political, and economic life. There is an urgent need to achieve equality in every area, especially rewarding motherhood. The first most important teaching is that women perform a miracle through God by giving birth and raising a child of God to walk in his footsteps. John Paul II wants to express deeply his admiration for women who are mothers because it is a full-time job of its own. Furthermore, no matter how some male members of the church acted, Jesus treated women with openness, respect, acceptance, and tenderness. He honored women. How much of this do we now see in our society today? Women are idolized as objects in the commercial business and therefore are categorizing all women as something to be played with. The third most important teaching of John Paul II's letter to women is that man is surrounded by creatures, but God creates a woman to help him escape from solitude. This is a mutual principle of help. Men and women are complementary. John Paul II highlights this factor so we remember as human beings to depend on one another and learn not to have feelings of inferiority or superiority. Fourth, even if Christ attested that only men are icons of shepherds of the church, this does not detract from the roles of women because we all share equally in dignity based on baptism. The final most important teaching is that we should give thanks to God for the great treasure of womanhood and its essential heritage of mankind and the church herself. This document has personally taught me that I am so blessed to live in America and have the rights and freedoms that I do. Sometimes I forget how blessed I am to live in this country. Also, I learned that women everywhere deserve and should fight for equality in economy, politics, social life, and in the workforce. Lastly, I learned that it is our responsibility to help women who are not as fortunate as we are. We can help with our prayers, time, treasure, and so much more. There were not many controversies to be found with the letter to women. However, the Vatican was not entirely pleased with the Beijing Conference and how it went. Modern world versus Catholic Church. The modern world society proposes that women should be viewed for their physical attributes, not their personalities. The Church, by example of Jesus Christ, respects women for their intelligence, responsibilities, achievements, and charity. Pope John Paul II expresses how it is time to look at the past with courage and willingness to change how women are viewed for their physical appearance, not their skill, career, intellect, or sensitivity. On the other side of women being idolized for their bodies, some countries devalue women simply because they are women and are seen as inferior to men. To my knowledge, the letter to women was not cited in the diocesan curriculum. Some examples of mistreatment of women can be found in many countries throughout the world. First, let's look at Afghanistan, which is probably overall the worst and most extreme cruelty of women. Almost 60% of girls are married by age 16, and 80% of these marriages are forced or arranged. Once married, girls do not continue their education and therefore become illiterate. However, only 40% of Afghan girls attend elementary school, and only 1 in 20 girls attend school beyond 6th grade. Islamic extremists insist women and girls stay at home and can only leave if they are fully covered and accompanied by a male relative. Afghan women have very few economic opportunities because they are confined to housework. Experts agree that education is the best strategy to liberate women from male domination. Women's legal standing is limited. According to Sharia law, a female's testimony is worth half of a man's, so women rarely ask for a divorce because custody will be given to the father or godfather. However, some women are abused so badly but refuse to ask for a divorce because they would rather be abused than give up their children. Situations were worse from 1996 to 2001 because of the Taliban reign. It forced women to cover themselves completely from head to toe, and women who were once doctors or teachers were now being forced to be beggars and even prostitutes. Situations in Chad could even be considered worse than Afghanistan today. Chad has one of the highest rates of underage marriage in the world. The IRIN reports that domestic violence against women is common even though it is prohibited by law. While female genital mutilation or cutting is also prohibited, a 2004 government report by the National Institute of Statistics claimed that 45% of local women had undergone FGMC. Only 16% of births in Chad are assisted by a skilled attendant. Nonprofit groups have started setting up radio stations to provide information about the abuse happening to women and social programming on women's issues.